This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of the Gamers Council. Oh man, we have got a good show tonight and an amazing set of guests tonight. I am so happy. We have the one and only Doomcutie. Doom, welcome.
Oh gosh, I'm first. Hello. How's everyone? How you going?
It's going great. It's going great. I'm so glad that you're here. I know it's real early for you.
Oh no, this is a good time of year. It would usually be 7 a.m., but now it's 8 a.m. So
well, there you
it's
go.
Totally fine.
Good deal. Keep forgetting to change stuff.
No.
Who knows if
Happy
we're
to
going
be
to
here.
continue doing that. So yeah. But anyway, so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much. And then of course we got OBM One Bad Mother. Buddy, what is going on?
Oh man, I'm good. It's nice to talk to everybody again. It's been a few minutes, and life's been keeping me pretty busy. Hopefully that clears up here sometime this year. But it's been a little while since I got a chance to talk about gaming. But since we're pulling off Band-Aids, I just thought I'd jump on the show and make sure all the Band-Aids were completely off today. And then I'll let you kind of clean up the mess and later on. But it's great to have the opportunity, and thanks for the invite, guys.
Fantastic. And of course, I got my co-host, Hargeet Chani. Hargeet, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Just going through Banisher still, playing that. And I keep hearing how Xbox is dead, and Xbox is dead, and Xbox is dead, and Xbox is dead, and Xbox. It's been going on since 2001, man. I just, when is it going to stop?
Yeah, exactly. Well, all I can say about the it's probably one of our topics tonight. Imagine that, because I know that's one of the reasons why we have Doomcutie here, because she is the Forza queen, and so we're going to have her on to talk all about some gaming and what expectations there. But I don't think it's as bad as ponies would like you to believe. At least it's not for us. Now, for Sony, I don't know. We'll see. All I can say is I guarantee you there's a lot of PlayStation fanboys that are really excited that Microsoft is actually putting out product for their system, because Sony's not doing a whole lot of that. Just saying. A lot of first party stuff, not so much. I mean, we know there's some things coming, but when? We'll get into all that tonight on the council. I'm ready for some spiciness, have a little fun, because we're going to go out with a bang tonight, because next week is the Super Bowl, and we will not be broadcasting next week. This is the only week that I don't do a show, because what's the point? I'm going to be watching a game, and I can't have the game on while I'm talking gaming. So there you go. That's what's going on. So next week there won't be a show, but the week after, guarantee we'll be back to talking all that good stuff. But yeah, so I guess to get things started, we're kind of run down some of the topics real quick and see where our guests want to start first. We obviously, which we may save this one just for a little bit, but Forza Horizon 5 has been confirmed going to PlayStation 5. Okay, cool. Most of us already knew that was coming. They've been talking about it for a while, quote unquote. Now it's official, but it's been out there. Just saying. And then of course, Xbox has more games announced for PlayStation this year than Sony PlayStation itself. Let that sink in. Just let that. And then let's see. PlayStation had a demotion of Herman Holst. I mean, a rebranding, a repositioning, whatever you want to call it. He's no longer the head CEO, co-CEO. He's not that anymore. Let's see. Xbox. Let's see. Has I'm sorry. All right. So PlayStation has also canceled another game. Then they did it last week. We talked a little bit about it last week, but some more people wanted to talk about it today. A lot of the ponies have been out there thinking it's the whole slate, and now they've made a wish list of games that they expect to come to their platform day and date. Huh. And then the last thing we'll kind of touch on at some point, maybe not the last, maybe we talk about it first. Spider-Man 2 for the PC is, well, it's not optimized perfectly. It's kind of broken. Kind of reminds you when it first released on the PlayStation 5. That's kind of scary. Kind of scary. Hargeet, what of these topics sound good to you to start with?
Let's just get the Spider-Man out of the way. Right, it's a small topic. Let's just do that.
Yeah, sounds good. As we build up, over 100 people here already. Thank you so much for joining us. 100 people live on X and on YouTube, and one on Twitch. Yeah, exactly. Excellent. But yeah, let's.
We got Farq. He's re-upped his membership for 15 months.
15 months. Wow.
I know. That's awesome. Farq.
What mess is he gonna create today?
Exactly. Farq is pretty awesome. And then, oh my goodness, Bunty is in the house. Bunty. Bunt. Mm-hmm.
Bunty gives us 5 WEBDAVE membership. All right, here we go. Let's see. We've got Ryu Gaming, Doomcutie, Radio Mac Gaming, Victor Allison, and then Focus Active all got memberships a la Bunty.
Thank you so much, sir. Super
Thank
nice
you
to do that. Yes. And just so you know, Doom, right now you have access to all these amazing emojis now too. So I'm gonna throw a bunch of them in there, but you can use them, burn them up, and if you decide, you know what, I want to do this myself. It's only $1 to become a member. If you want to become a member yourself to use all these emojis, it's just $1. That's it. That's all. So there you go.
Is that American or Australian?
It's American.
Probably what, $1.50 for you guys, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
$1.60, I think.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Watch out.
Watch out.
You know what? Look, Spider-Man 2, I don't think people care about anymore. So it being bad on PC, I don't like. It's really, I don't know. It's like a nothing news. It's like people just want to talk about a bad thing about PlayStation just because. But really, I don't think anyone expects their PlayStation 5 ports to PC to be good anymore. They've already set this precedent. They've already disappointed a lot of fans of these games, and I just personally think no one cares. What do you do? You guys care? Does it keep you up at night? I don't know. Like,
first, let me get this out of the way. Soiltech renewed his membership. Hey, Soiltech, how's it going, man?
Thanks, buddy. 4 months.
For 4 months.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, Gabe. Gabe. Hey, what do you think? Wow, it's.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these topics that I don't have a super strong opinion on. You know, the fact that Nixus actually missed. Nixus is usually a pretty good, port developer, and this is a little bit of a surprise. It's a surprise that Sony actually pushed it out this way. You would have thought they might have delayed this. The thing that I'm finding with a lot of these types of ports is that, or really any game that's releasing on PC or anywhere, is just you just wait until these things are polished, and they're usually going to go on some sort of sale in a couple months. And I expect it will probably get some tweaks, some updates. I think at some point it's probably going to be all right. And just like, I went on the Sony Publisher sale on Steam, what is it, a month or two ago, and loaded up on a lot of things. And some of them weren't out very long. Like Ghost of Tsushima just came out, and bought those. Worked great at the time. And I assume at some point these ports will get cleaned up and finished. But I don't know if this is really like a bigger subject, like something that leads into a bigger subject. I do wonder if there is some second thoughts at PlayStation right now. They have changed over a lot of the leadership very recently. They canceled a lot of games. They see what Microsoft is doing, going in a whole different direction. They might just decide, because right now there's a lot of turmoil in the industry. It's not just Sony. It's like everywhere. EA, Capcom was low. Ubisoft, we know about them. Square, everybody. So I think there is maybe something to be said for just playing it safe and leaning into what you do know. And maybe they actually even scale back the PC thing for a while because they don't need them for guests because they canceled most of that right now. So most of those multiplayer games have been canceled. And if they're going to just go single player, maybe they say like, look, the delayed ports aren't really worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? Because they did early on. They sold pretty well, but I think now PC gamers are like, I'm not going to spend $70 for something that's, that came out last year that may not be the fully optimized. I'll just, wait, maybe they'll get it on sale. Maybe they don't get it at all. But I think that Sony is seeing that this model may not be worth it. And so I think you have to decide whether you're going to go day and date or you're just going to basically go back into who you are. The fact they changed things over, they went with the Japanese leader. You wonder if they are going back to the basics, right, of who they are. And, like if Microsoft is exiting the traditional version of the console war, maybe they just go lean all in and say, hey, everybody, those of you who like the way consoles always used to be, this is going to be the traditional experience. And, it does seem like, I know there's rumors and we know there's no such thing as a PlayStation insider. So I take it with a grain of salt, but I do see some of the plausibility of those rumors that they might be pulling back on PC now.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought on that as well. But then again, what are they making money off of themselves? That's the thing is like the very first party is where they make the most money or Call of Duty. So if they don't have first party PC titles coming out, where are they going to make the bulk of their money?
Right. It's a good question. And I think that there's maybe, and this is where they're kind of in no man's land, I think right now. It's one of those things where traditional consoles not growing a lot, or it's not growing at all really. And their active users are virtually the same as they were in 2019. That means PS4, PS5 combined. Same amount of people are turning those on that were turning them on in 2019. So like with Microsoft not competing, with PC parts being super expensive the last 5 years, with Switch on the down end of their console thing, they haven't figured out how to, have new users, like a significant amount, turn on their consoles month after month. So at some point you got to wonder, where does the growth come from? But maybe this is not growth mode. Maybe this is going to turtle position mode for a couple of years until they can figure out how to do that right. And maybe you come back. If you're going to go day and date on the PC, I think you got to be ready to do it the right way. I think doing half steps is probably the wrong answer, because really what you end up doing with the half steps is you end up setting a bad precedent and getting a bad reputation, and then the kind of energy around this stuff on the PC side is actually, it feels like it's dropping every single time they come out with something. So maybe you just pull back, you go back to who go in a turtle position, rely on the traditional base for a few years, and then come back and do PC the right way, in a few years when things will be more obviously in that direction.
Right. Hargeet?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is kind of surprising that Nixus put out a port that's kind of bad. I mean, the Ragnarok port, I don't know if they did that or not, but that was probably a pretty good one, right? So they do have some good releases that just work. So, and they have several, like most publishers, that have issues. So, I don't know. We'll see if this is a pattern. If, like you're saying, Abe, maybe it's like a change in direction. We don't know for a fact that things are changing. It's all rumor. And again, a lot of what we're talking about is rumor, right? Some of these things are real, but a lot of things we talk about is rumor. And so you have to just take it as is. So could it be that they're changing direction? Maybe. Could they're changing direction more to PC, less to PC? Who knows? We have no idea, right? So what we do know is their financials that they put out. And they're,
and the margins are lower than they are in 2019. If you factor inflation, their profitability is actually less now than it was 2019 after all this investment. So you got to wonder, like, what is that next direction? But Hargeet, I do agree with you. And if we're basing things on rumors, we know the PlayStation insider sometimes just moving in the opposite direction is more right than going along with any rumor that you're hearing.
So we will see. We don't know. let's see where they go with that. It is a little disappointing that the port is somewhat troubling, right? But like whatever, they'll fix it. I know they'll get it done. But when will it be? I don't know. I think it's doing better than a lot of their other releases as far as sales numbers, because they're seeing actual like playing consecutive concurrent player numbers that are pretty good. They're decent. So is it like the first one? No, but then again, like that was the first time that the thing came over to PC, right? So that newness is not there anymore. Now it's a sequel. There's also a bunch of other games out. So you just have to factor all that stuff in, right? So I think it'll do decent numbers. You're not going to get massive numbers of millions, but you'll get something. So hopefully it'll give them some extra cash to make it profitable. I think the game is just over their cost at this point. Hopefully this will make it significantly over, and it'll be a good profit for them. So good for them. But yeah, it is a little disappointing that it came out buggy, especially with Nixus. Nixus is usually really, really on top of their game.
Yeah, they're one of the best.
It's a little disappointing. So, but whatever. We'll see what they do with it. To your point of Doomcutie, does anybody care about the game? I think there's still fans of Spider-Man out there.
Okay.
But yeah, the problem is if you don't do it when the buzz is there.
Yeah,
there's too much coming out all the time, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot, like the Eternal Strands and Sniper Elite just came out, right? So you have those games brand new. Do you want to play those? Do you want to play an old game? And then PoE is just eating PC right now. PoE 2. Okay, so you have
people aren't playing Spider-Man
right
on PC.
It's the world. It is what it is, right? These big games come out and then they just kind of eat up time. It's just the world. I mean, you look at things like Dragon Age not working well. It's a big IP. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. There's just too much other stuff nowadays, and a lot of it gets eaten up by just Fortnite games like PoE that come out and like, hey, I'm just gonna take up all your time, right? It's just what happens right now. So yeah.
No, but Doomcutie makes a good point though, and like you can put it a different way, and it goes up for everybody. Like there is a certain zeitgeist you miss if you don't have it everywhere on day one. Like you do get that like sort of circular viral, everybody's talking about the same thing at once. When it sticks to one platform to begin with, and it's really the same group too. Like it's the same group of gamers that have been buying those types of games now for years, right, on PlayStation, right? So they're all connected to each other, and they all, like Sean Layden said, you're selling the same games to the same gamers. I think you lose the opportunity to really build out that base when you delay things like that. And that's kind of like this weird spot they're in. It's like kind of like you almost want to either go day one or just say, hey, look, you know what, you're just gonna have to get used to playing on a console again. Like one of the two things. I think this in between doesn't really it sounds good on paper. It's like we're gonna get the best of both worlds. We're gonna get people to come here and then we're gonna get the money again later. But the problem is the money you get later is so much less. There's so much less energy around it. And the thing is, like when Microsoft started doing the day ones, like they were finding it was like feeding both sides. It's like the fact that people on PC were playing Sea of Thieves brought more people on console to play Sea of Thieves, and because more people on console were playing Sea of Thieves, more people, is like you kind of do that again, like you kind of create that flywheel or just that cumulative effect. So you if you want to get those new communities, you really want to get expand. You really need to go all in with those new communities. I think to really make an impact. Otherwise, you're just kind of you're incrementally gaining a little bit more profit, but you're not really growing yourself that much as a publisher developer.
Yeah, they're looking at a potential for double dips, which may happen, but the reality is probably not a large percentage of people that are going to double dip. There probably are going to be some, but not a lot. And you're better off just giving it, if somebody wants to buy it on Steam, let them buy it on Steam. If they want to buy it on your PlayStation, let them buy it on your PlayStation. You have to just give up on the idea that you're going to get, both customer bases, and one of them needs to do this afterwards, and it'll actually add up, right? There's a little bit of just lost, consciousness, like you were saying. It's kind of out of the mind. Like Spider-Man, that came out like a while ago now.
Yeah, but
I mean, that was like a year and a half ago or something, right?
Abe, you make a really good point in saying, like, if you're not going to go all in, like, just don't. Like, it just doesn't sit well with me seeing that, because it's like, yes, they want to double dip, they want to be relevant in another space, potentially, get other people to play their game, right? But it kind of just feels disingenuous, like they're just doing it for the sake of it, just because, I don't know, they signed a contract, 2 years ago or whatever.
Right?
It just, yeah, exactly. So it's just like, what's the actual point? Unless there's something special that you're going to, bring to it, whether it is just cosmetics or something like that you can only play on the PC. Like, how hard is that? Like, that would potentially bring more people in and make people double dip. But it seemed like they just haven't bothered, which just kind of sucks.
Yeah. And the double dip, I think, works for a round or two, and then people get smart about it. Like, I double dipped on Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal.
Yeah.
I had both of those on my PlayStation 5. I was like, oh, they're on sale. I can play them, on the 4090 with the Xbox controller. I get to use all 4 paddles, right? My controller, I would say, is more important to me than even frame rate. Playing with the controller. I
Oh
want
God,
to play
yeah.
with.
That's why I'm not on a PlayStation. I can't do it. The controller is just so irritating. I can't use it anymore.
Yeah, I need my offset thumbs. It's just, and it's not that one thing is better than the other. It's the way I've been gaming for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm super, it is like second nature to use all 4 of my paddles, have my thumbsticks like this, my triggers a certain way. And I would put that over the frame rate, resolution, even
But
extra
you can
DLC.
blow into the PlayStation controller.
That's true. I mean, that's special, and someday maybe we'll get to blow
I'm with
into
you.
our-
I'm with you there.
Oh Lord.
but until we can blow into that, but so I did double dip the first time, but now it's like Ghost of Yotai is coming out this year, and I think Ghost is my favorite IP that Sony's published. Like, I put in 80 hours just last month on that thing, and I'm still sitting there like, you know what? I'll just, if they're gonna keep doing what they had been doing, I'll just wait. I can wait a year, because there's going to be so much to play this year, right?
Which is why I say you should just sell PS5. There's no point. There's no point in having that console when you have a PC that can play all their games. And just
if they're going to continue to do what they're doing, if they're going to continue to do what they're doing, I will wait this time. I'm not going to double dip this time.
If we're talking about just like comfort, like, I feel like people come to gaming to, feel they like a familiar environment, right? And there's a massive difference that I feel when I turn on my console compared to when I turn on my PC. I know I can play games on my PC, but it just doesn't feel the same. And I think, when people say that, I'm like, oh, like sometimes I want to play on my PC and sometimes I want to play on my console. And I think we like options. Okay, so you know what? If you want a PC and a console, go ahead. I'm with you.
There you go.
Yeah, the difference is that, like, you'd have to be able to deal with their controller, and I like my hands. It doesn't happen, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm too old for me to waste my hands.
There
on a
is
controller.
Oh gosh, what's it called? There's like a way that if you install a program, kind of like how the PlayStation Portal works, but it's for in your PC. I can't remember what it's called. But basically, you can have the game on your computer and you can control it through your PC. So potentially that could be an option if you really, really wanted to.
But then I'm on my PC.
Correct.
I might as well just play on PC natively with my 4090. Right?
There's so much out
bells and whistles.
And this will probably tie into our next subject, but there really is just so much out there that even if, like, hey, that might be one of my top 5 games of the year, it's okay if I wait a year. I'll wait for them to get patches and
I think the only game that
I don't have time. I don't have like everything that it comes out that looks like, hey, that'd be great if that looks like it could be a lot of fun. I won't have time to play every one of those. It just won't, and so when you are like that, and I think most people are like that now, that's the difference between gaming today and exclusives today versus the way the impact exclusives used to have, let's say 15 years ago or even 10 years ago, is that there's just everybody's got digital backlogs, 100-hour single player games, endless game time on the black hole games, and there's always something. There's in the last few years there just the industry went crazy and so many people started investing, and now you got games on top of games coming out. people can wait. Everything, it's really, really hard to stand out. And when you make somebody go play with a controller that they don't want to play with, that could be the differentiator. And it is for me. And I think it is for a lot of people. Right. So,
yeah. The only game I think it works for is GTA. They will have you buy it 15 times. And you'll, well, to be fair, Nintendo does a really good job getting you to buy the same game over and over again as well. Hey,
look, I think
GTA is going to be one of those games
that's
do it.
a completely different beast, right? Sorry, I had to cut you off, but that's a completely different beast. You're talking about brand loyalty there. That's got nothing to do with whether it's on a PC, whether it's on a potato, for goodness sake. Like that it's honestly you feel that vibe, that sense of that that IP, whatever it is, on everything, and it feels exactly the same, and you love that, and you love it so much. So I think like that's completely different to, you know, like Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. I don't think that has the same, like, if you have a cult following behind your brand, I think you could sell that 100, 200 times and people will still buy it.
Yep.
Or a monopoly in handheld. I think that people underrate how
yes, well, that's for sure. Like,
they
I
did
can't
have
imagine
a monopoly in handheld.
Yeah, I guess so.
I suppose.
I tell you what, I think different countries are, like, in regards to handhelds, like, it's just not as prevalent in Australia. In America, it's a lot better. I think your internet is a lot better. Like, when I go on public transport, like on the train, buses, you know, airplanes, stuff like that, people aren't using their ROG Ally or their, you know, their Steam Deck or whatever. Like, but I don't know. Do you guys walk around and like see that all the time?
Occasionally.
I don't know. I see kids with the Nintendos. Most adults around here, I don't know, are too cool for it, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not. I have two children. I'll get down with the Nintendo. Don't you worry. But yeah, like playing it in public, maybe. Are we ashamed? I don't know.
No. And you know, in Japan, it's
there was
the
that. Yeah, I mean,
Japan,
it used to be like that, right? Now I think it's become okay, right? Because all the people
hide
who
up behind a
used to
newspaper, you know,
closetly be gamers are now just outside. Like we're the adults. Like, too bad. This is it. We play games.
Well, that's another thing. That's another thing, right? If we're talking about like the way people consume games, like that audience that you're talking about, like bringing, you know, up with these games, we're getting older. You know, we're talking about like mid-30s here and above. Like, that's, you know. We're going to consume games differently, and I think when games come out, like for example, a game like Marvel Rivals doesn't have the same demographic as other games that you guys love, right? So it's like, well, you kind of don't understand like how that game is successful, or you don't enjoy it, or you jump in a little bit and you're like, oh, like it's not exactly what I want, and that's because you're not their target audience. So yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so get these out of the way, right? Drew P. Boy, that's nice.
Droopy balls.
Droopy balls, yeah. Became a YouTube member. Thank you. Sith Lord.
Sorry.
$2. My favorite.
Sith Lord.
COGG. Oh, is that your is that your podcast?
Yes.
Confession of a Game Girl, yeah. He missed the A.
Doomcutie and good reliable OBM.
There you go. Thanks, Sith Lord. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And then Lemon, how's it going, man? 108 Dragons TV, $2. Phil looks like a genius now, huh?
Yes.
I guess we'll get into that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into a lot of things. Don't worry. I got some stuff already queued up. But yeah, that's I think pretty much we covered everything on the Spider-Man type front. And
I think this is a good comment, right? Because Lemon, he works in NYC Transit, so
he does.
He sees it all day, right? He sees the portables all day. So there you go.
I want to know how many get put in the lost and found. How many people have left them?
Forgot it. Oopsie.
Yeah. I think there's a lot. Meanwhile, he's got like a stash of them. None.
Welcome out to
that short topic.
280 people that are here watching us right now live. We got over 200 on YouTube. We got over 80 on X, and 1 still on Twitch. Thank you so much. And none on TikTok. Sorry. I gotta set that up.
Well, that short topic turned out to be a half an hour.
No, that's all right.
That's all right. I'll be shorter.
That's not at all, dude. This is
This is
conversational
why
podcast,
this is why
man.
you know not to have like 10 people on the podcast when I come on, because I will keep you up all night talking
Oh,
about
You know what?
anything.
No, don't worry. I think to myself, like, obviously I have an all-female gaming podcast. I bring on female guests. We talk a lot. We say a lot. And yeah, like when I have 4 people on, it's like I don't get to cover everything that I plan to because there's just so many people that need a turn, you know? And it's like, oh, I want everyone to have a turn. So I get it. It's all good. Nothing's a short topic. It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
I could talk 2 hours on any topic by myself. That's not necessarily.
That's why you're gonna have a
Just to the
great
mirror.
podcast. Once you get your stuff set up, OBM, I'm telling you, you're gonna get a huge following. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
So we
I'll be a
can
guest.
like combine a bunch of this together with the PlayStation demoted Herman.
Oh, yeah,
They're
yeah, we
looking
can
for
do
more
that.
games and they cancel the game, right? Let's just
Or let me
combine that as one
let me
topic.
share this little clip. And then we'll go from there. We'll see where this clip takes us. All right. So yeah. All right. So oh, you guys see it? All right. So I'm gonna enlarge it, and we will play this little less than a minute clip.
Yeah. Ripping the Band-Aid off on that topic while you're there. Are all Xbox games going to PlayStation someday, or will there still be exclusives? How are those red lines looking these days?
The red line, just to be clear, was of me responding to an answer. Like, it sometimes gets positioned if I kind of ran out with a red lines t-shirt on. We are finding that our games shipping on multiple platforms is a good thing for Xbox. It makes Xbox stronger. It lets us do shows like we did with Showcase with great games, give our game time teams the time they need for us to invest in platform, for us to invest in hardware. I think all of this is part of what Xbox is going to be when we go forward. When you ask the question like no, I mean, there's Xbox games that have shipped that we're not going to put on other platforms. Some of the things we'll look at how they do, but ripping.
There you go.
You know, okay. First of all, I don't really like Destin as an interviewer, to be honest. I don't understand how he gets access to all of this stuff when he literally just repeats everything else that everyone says online. Like, he doesn't actually create anything original. That's probably a hot take, but I really, really don't care. He needs to do something original himself. But Phil's responses to his answers to his questions were really good. I know it hurt a lot of you guys, but their marketing did try to warn you when they put this is an Xbox, this is not an Xbox. Like, I turn on my Samsung television and immediately it talks to me about Samsung gaming and how I can play all these Xbox Game Pass games on my TV. Do I do it? No, but I can. And I think time will tell, but I don't think he's trying to be mean to everyone. I think he's just trying to, let them play all the lovely games that we get to play, and then try and tell them, you know what, it's actually better value on Xbox. So you should probably just try that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. We got another super chat. Let's get that real quick.
Oh boy, Dave Reezy. We see. Oh boy, a stroker. Droopy Balls collab soon.
You just never know, Day Reezy. You just never know.
Oh boy.
So yeah, there we
These
go.
are
Over
some
300
hard-hitting
people
super
watching
chats.
this. Yeah,
Oh boy.
well,
boy.
sometimes
Well, the
when you have a
stroker
running
story, right?
joke, it
Everybody
just
knows
keeps
that's
getting
what
run
it
into
is.
the ground. All right, there we go. Oh goodness. Alrighty then.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so OBM, what are your thoughts?
By the way, if I cut out here for a moment, I'll be right back. I think my internet's acting kind of silly right now. But before I do cut out, so this is something that I know they've been alluding to for a while, and I was actually surprised back in after they bought ZeniMax, when they came out and did their roundtable and they announced that they're going to go lean back into exclusives. I do believe at the time they were announcing that they thought that was a chance for them to kind of build up the brand and it was they were kind of looking at this industry in a whole different light than what they are today. And I do, obviously ABK has a lot to do with that, but I think this goes beyond a lot of that. But ultimately, like, just stepping back to whether this is what we want or don't want, because people have their loyalties to their gaming ecosystems. The thing that you think about is like the most popular games, and he's not wrong about this, the most popular games are everywhere. It goes back to what I just said not too long ago about Sony and being on PlayStation or being on PC. It's like, if you're going to do it right, just be day one, get the zeitgeist, build the new audiences, infiltrate these communities of gamers that really don't think about you because they don't need to. Like, here's the thing, no, outside of like maybe Call of Duty and a couple of these big black hole games, nobody needs Xbox first party. Nobody needs PlayStation first party. Like, people don't need the majority of things from a lot of these developers. There's more things than people can play. There's so many things that come out now that are all high quality, that in all different types of genres. And it's like, how are you going to cut through that? And one of the things that ended up happening like over the last few years, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, like the .com bubble thing, like back in the days in the 90s, like when all these .com companies kind of exploded. Alan Greenspan, who was like the head of the Fed, came out and said, like, there was this, he called it like irrational exuberance. He said all these people that are throwing money at this thing, eventually, like, this is going to level out in like, there was a bubble building, right? And I think we had something similar during the pandemic a few years ago. And what we saw like with the .com thing is like the market crashed. Eventually things leveled out. Some companies got really, really, really big. But then, a lot of others kind of fell off. And I think right now, like where the gaming industry is right now, there's like two things happening. One is like all these new gamers want games to be wherever the hell that they are at. They don't really, if you're not where they're at, they just don't play you. And not only that, they play games that they can talk about with their friends, usually play with their friends, like a lot of the new age, the new generations of gamers. And due to the insane investment a few years ago in gaming, like this whole market is oversaturated. Like, they all miscalculated. They thought there was going to be way more people playing games today, way more people buying games today. They didn't know that the old games were going to just get bigger and bigger and eat more of the pie. And the pie didn't grow. And so I think like over the next few years, you're going to see a lot more cost cutting, a lot more contraction, consolidation, things like that. And so it really is right now, it's about the IP wars. I think this is a smart decision for their studios, for any of the IPs they're making that you guys like. If you like Fable, you probably want it to be everywhere, because that's going to give it the best chance, because it's a super expensive game. Jez has come out and said like it's one of the most expensive things Microsoft has ever developed. So if you want Fable 2, it's not just about being able to sell an Xbox and PC. You want to just build this up to be a thing that's everywhere that everybody's talking about. So, and the other aspect of it is
all the way, please.
Doomcutie, I think we got to mute you. I think she stepped away.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm back.
But the other thing is like there is an interesting flywheel thing they're trying to build here. Like, the more popular they make their games everywhere, the more attractive their subscription is going to get. And the bigger their subscription gets, the more viral marketing they're going to get for every game that releases on it. So like basically having games everywhere is going to subsidize a bigger flywheel, right? Because they're feeding each other. And it's not, there was a point in time where it seemed like Microsoft's goal was like grow Game Pass at any and all costs, do everything you can to grow this. Obviously, they thought the hardware was the best way. They've changed that. We saw that during the ABK trials, and now just say, hey, we think we're shooting for 15% of our overall portfolio. And like Amy Hood and Satya Nadella came out last week and basically said, hey, everything's on track. Yeah, we're not selling hardware, but our Game Pass grew on PC by 30%. And so I think this is now a thing where it's like you're going to incrementally grow Game Pass. You're going to try to get your IPs more popular everywhere, incrementally grow Game Pass. And they're going to kind of feed each other. I think ultimately what's going to work out for the people that are on Xbox is that if you are subscribed, you're just going to, what this does is it just allows them to invest more money into the thing, right? And it allows for more of these studios to continue to be healthy. I think them like having their cake and eating it too by getting some here and some there is allowing these studios to kind of serve more than one purpose, right? So now like moving forward, they got, what is it, like 50 teams making games at this point when you factor second party and everything. It's like you want to be able to, that's 40 to 50 teams, like there's something crazy like that. So you want these teams to be as healthy as possible, and I think if you look around the industry, everybody else is cutting back. Ubisoft is looking like they're on the fringes and maybe have to sell. Square cut their Western division. We keep hearing about every single time they come out with the statement, nothing met expectations. Capcom missed expectations. EA just came out. We saw Dragon Age was like 50% of expectations. Even FIFA did worse than it usually does because they changed the name of it. And we saw Sony just cut 10 studio or 10 projects or whatever it was. So, and somehow AB says, hey, look, we actually exceeded expectations in terms of their software and services. So I do think that this is probably the thing that makes the most sense. And I do hear from a lot of people in the community. They're frustrated about this. And I understand it because Phil told you one thing a few years ago, which you played at the beginning of their WEBDAVE. And now it's like a, kind of flipping the script on it. Again, I think they were probably trying to build the brand back then. And they've given up on that.
No, you know what? I'm telling you.
I'm talking a lot.
No, it's all good. I think you're right. I think, they tried some things. It didn't work. They couldn't build their brand up as high as PlayStation in regards to, the amount of consoles and all that kind of stuff. So they couldn't, I feel like, potentially feels just like, what console war? Xbox is not a console. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is Xbox gaming. You can game anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I think just kind of cutting out the whole idea that Xbox is tied to a console is smart. It's future proofing the brand.
It was always and the thing is, it was always the plan. And this is why, when I said early on, and sometimes I circle the wagons 1,000 times before I get to my point.
Right.
But the point was, like, when I said I thought ZeniMax was going to go everywhere day one, it made sense to me based off of when Microsoft restructured in 2017 and they moved Phil to report to Satya. They basically were telling us they wanted to be everywhere. And Phil's been saying for years, even after that, hey, I don't think exclusives really do anything to move things anymore now that everybody's locked in digitally. He's been saying that before the whole ZeniMax acquisition. And then you listen to what Satya was saying right when they bought ZeniMax. He didn't talk about consoles at all. He said, we're all in on gaming and it's going to be everywhere and you're not going to need a console, is what he said. And then Phil comes out, after they close the deal and says, okay, we're going to make exclusives. So I do think there was a thought at the time. It's like, hey, maybe we want to save the Xbox brand. And the only way we're going to do that is to have it associated with exclusives. And I think they probably threw that out the window after ABK, after things that were happening in the industry. Right. But to your point, Doomcutie, that is true. But this has always been the plan. Yeah. And they are no longer in the console rat race. There's no longer stakes in this, by the way. So everybody, from Sean Layden, and by the way, Sean Layden likes to troll Xbox people. If you haven't figured it out, he drops something in every interview that just I swear to God, he gives everybody who has a PlayStation podcast something to jump on. Like last time it was Game Pass is not sustainable with where they're going. Right? He told us they needed to do like 500,000 subs to be sustainable or some shit like that. But we're talking about or 500 million,
one thing on that though, what you just said though, about he seems like whatever he says, they run with it, right? So basically,
he's just trolling us. But anyways, keep going.
every single PlayStation podcast, okay, has Xbox in their mouth. Everybody. Talking about Phil, what's going on, what's happening. It's not about that, a first party this. no. Oh, Microsoft is dead. Microsoft is this. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. Is it? I don't think so.
No. Well, it depends on what you want. So people who really have nostalgia tied to and they're all on the console. They're never going to play in anything else. They want you to put all your energy into this box, make it as cheap as you can, make it as powerful as you can, and just put everything behind it. I understand like where they're coming from, but I also don't think the stakes are what nearly like 90% of the people or more of you guys really think they are. Like this next box that Microsoft is going to make probably is going to just sell as much as the One X. It's going to be an enthusiast box. Yeah. You know, the Steam Deck sold about 6-7 million, something like that. And nobody who bought a Steam Deck is less excited about the Steam Deck 2. Right. You know, Valve is still making it. When you're making a box and it's the only way into your ecosystem because it's this whole walled garden model, the stakes are very, very high in you selling that box. That's why they took major losses. That's why Sony is still taking losses while Microsoft, by the way, I don't know if anybody noticed this, they bait and switched us. You can't find the $500 Series X anymore. You can only find the $600 Series X if you want it, the one with the white one. So like this whole thing when you're all in, you're losing money to get digital in there. Huh? Yeah, the digital. The $600.
Maybe
I actually tried to find the $600 one, which is the 2 terabyte with the disk drive. It was gone.
The digital is the only thing you can find.
I couldn't see it.
Yeah, that's fast.
We still have it in Australia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I visited Forte today. He works in one of the more successful GameStop stores around here.
Shout out to Forte. Love gaming Forte.
Yeah. I stopped by to talk to him because I was listening to him on IOP and I was like, oh man, I noticed that he was at a store.
Like, yeah, he was at his store podcasting. Nobody's in there buying anything, so you might as well. I'm just kidding, Forte. I used to work for GameStop too. He knows it.
So I was driving by and I stopped by and talked to him. He said, yeah, you can, like, we haven't had the black Series X in a while. You can get the white one.
That's cute.
That's $600.
I love that for you.
But the point is, like, they're different models, and if the Xbox is an OS, it doesn't matter if the next thing they make sells only 7 or 8 million, because it is not the only way, and it's not the ball game, right? It doesn't matter if the next Xbox is built on Windows 12, which is what is now the open secret, right? And everybody knows
2 Xboxes.
Right. The next 2 Xboxes are going to be built on Windows 12, like which is going to be essentially a lighter version of Windows, similar to Linux. So it's going to have like low overhead, all that stuff. It's going to be if you're building a game on Steam, you're building a game basically for Xbox consoles in the future, right? The only difference is you got to get through the certification process. So they lower the barrier there, and it should be very easy cheap for developers to take that binary and throw it on to the Xbox console. So it doesn't really matter. Like, you are now selling people Windows 12. Hold
on. Are you saying that it'll go from everything's an Xbox to everything is Xbox? I'm just saying you could do everything on the Xbox because it's a computer technically.
It's technically,
I don't know.
It already is. It's just
I know it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's locked down today, and in the future, like when developers make a game for Windows, it's good. They're basically making something. They're going to make one version, and it's going to work on the PC. It's going to work on the new consoles, the new handheld, in the cloud. All that stuff is going to be running off the same binary, right? It's going to go through the same certification process. So at that point, the stakes are not based off of whether we can sell 50 million of the next box, and that's what people don't understand right now. And that's why they think they're going to lose their libraries and everything. Really, the questions we should be asking is, how good is your next app going to be, Microsoft? You know, the one you're going to throw on the PC, right? Because that's going to determine whether people are going to engage with Game Pass or not. How is the forward and backwards compatibility going to work? I understand that question, but these are the questions I think people should be asking, not whether they're going to sell enough versus Sony, because it doesn't matter anymore. They've withdrawn from the walled garden hardware rat race. It's done. Who
does it matter to, though? Who does it matter to? It matters to ponies who have these little podcasts MBG, all these other ones. That literally, that's how they make their bread and butter. Is that it's the quote unquote console war. It's
The
we're
console
better
war is
than
over.
you. That's the only ones that really, the casuals who spend the most money on gaming don't give a fuck. Sorry to be
No, and
so blunt.
No, and I think that's fair. And I also think though, like the console war is over. And if you are somebody that's just like, hey, I really appreciate the way Sony really does things the old school way, and I want to go there, and you want to go rebuy your whole library where Microsoft's going to be the #1 publisher, I think they're fine with that. Right? It's like they're inoculated from whatever choices people in the gaming industry make, whether you buy a subscription, whether you stay on their platform and just keep doing what you always done, whether you go somewhere else and pay full price for their games. They're kind of, it's like you're just moving things around on the counting sheet, but they're still there making money in every bucket. And for the gamer, if there's no stakes, then there's no stakes. Then just do whatever's best for you. It doesn't matter. The console war is 100% over.
Yeah.
This Series X was the last phase of it, and they're already kind of powering it down. Again, they came out, the hardware was way down. They said it's going to be down. Amy said it's going to be down again next time. And then they told you that Satya in the conference call afterwards said everything's going according to plan. Amy came on and says, hey, we actually exceeded our expectations. And he said they're focusing on high margin stuff. And so it's, again, everything's kind of like static. So there's no reason for all the people that are like, oh, they won't even come out with one if they don't turn up the console sales. No, they're intentionally, because right now there's last thing I'll mention. I'll let you guys go.
It's all good.
Again, I told you I could speak for 2 hours.
It's all right. It's all right. Once you wrap this up, we
Half an
got
hour
some
of
super
each
chats.
topic.
I'll wrap this up. The gamer, like the other mistake I think people make with the ones who talk about the console war all the time, and they're so fixated on sales, is they look at every console sale the same. And they are not. They are vastly different. If you segment all your console sales into different quadrants, they all are significantly different in profitability, type of consumer. The consumer that's coming on now is either the casual gamer or the somebody buying their first big boy, big girl console, right? Like, this late in the generation, which are generally is your Fortnite generation. So like, why would you want to lose $100 to maybe sell them some skins over the next 2 years, right? Or it's somebody buying a secondary console. And to Microsoft, think about it, with the model they have now, why would it be so vital for you to sell somebody who's all in on PlayStation, who's only going to buy your console to play Starfield and maybe Fable, right? You may break even on them over the course of this generation if you took $100 loss on them. So it doesn't make sense. Just they go spend $70, take your split. In the meantime, they're helping subsidize Game Pass. They're helping subsidize these studios, and that's kind of like the way it works. So again, for them it works every way. But my point is to people that are on console that are very, very worried about it, like, pull the Band-Aid off. It's over. There's these comparing sales. They're no longer in the same business model. So just stop it. It doesn't matter anymore. But the second part is that the questions you should be asking, and it's fair to have them today because they're transitioning, are different than, are you going to sell enough consoles? It should be, are you going to make the app good enough? Are you going to make it easy enough for independent developers to get through your certification process? Are you going to continue to do what you've always done with your backwards compatibility and, honor that as you move everything over? How does that work? These are good questions that I don't think we have exact answers, only theories to. Right. But the sales thing, I think we need to let it go. And I will let you guys talk now.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool, dude. That's why we have you on here, is because you have a great mind for this stuff. So don't ever apologize for that. That's all good. We do have some super chats. We do have a lot of things to get through real quick, and then we're going to get Hargeet's view on this. But I do want to, because we have Odell wants to hear this.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
That's right. Please hit the like button, as Dirt Griggity says. We love you, Dirt. So yeah, man, we have over 370 people here watching us right now live. We appreciate that very much. That's over 100 on X, almost over 250 now watching on YouTube, and 1 on Twitch. Yay! Thank you all very much. Hargeet, this one was actually directed right at you. So let's get to that super chat real quick.
No, so like I did not get a 5090. I still have to see something that's compelling enough. And jumping from a 4090 to 5090, I don't know if I'm going to get enough out of it. It's a lot of money for what, right? So I may
Right.
hold
Don't
off
do
for a
it.
6090. I may hold off until somebody shows me a compelling reason why I can't do what I need to do on my current card. I'm just not going to upgrade. I need a good reason to
Like
jump.
what game needs a 5090?
That's my
None.
problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is my card not going to do, right? If you say that, like, this game will only run at 15 frames on a 4090, okay, then it's time to talk about it, right? Until then,
Yeah.
why? I'm playing
The
comfortably
only
in the 100+ frames
Smart
with
job.
everything turned on, right? It's
the
like, I'm
only
good.
thing that might sway you is price. The price may increase depending on, the
If
powers
it's
that
worth
be.
it to me, it's worth it to me, right? But if it's not worth
Yeah.
it to me, I don't care. So
Yeah.
right now, $2,000, and you're not going to get it for $2,000, right? Because it's sold out, it's gone, right? So it's going to be constrained for like 6 months. So it is what it is. So no, unfortunately no. Roshan Epinger, remember for 7 months. MS took their one customer community win and made it a commodity. This is why they couldn't keep their phone. They don't know how to keep customers as fans. There's probably some truth to this. A lot of the Microsoft sort of corporate level is very used to enterprise, and they enterprises. I happen to be an IT architect, right? So I'm the one who would go figure out what is my company going to use, right? So you might have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 employees, and we make the decision for all of them, right? And so the decision to say I'm going to use Microsoft as my stack, fair enough. That's a one-time thing. They have a one-time sale, and they get millions and millions of dollars, right? So you're right. They don't have the same level of acquisition cost. Whereas for a consumer, it's about feelings. It just is. It's not about, oh, well, was the spec level correct? And did I get the value that I was expecting? And nobody's doing that calculation. It's how they feel about it. That's always how it is, right? All these things are how they feel about it. Otherwise, nobody would buy dumb things. Video games are a massive luxury. Massive luxury. We do not need them at all, right? It's not
for
food,
sure.
it's not shelter, it's not clothing, but
No,
it's
I
all
feel
about
like
feelings.
Abe would. He'd
Is
be
what
like,
it is,
he probably would sit there and do the math. He would.
Yeah, I'm the dork that probably would. And Hargy, I think you're right. I think there's something to add on to it though. I think Nadella left Phil in this spot clearly over the last few years, and he does have an understanding of this community. And just like he said on the podcast with Destin, that he hear and with Paris, that hey, he hears the community, he games with, and he does. Like, I've known people that have gamed with him. He absolutely knows what people are saying. People tell him stuff, So the thing is, they understand what is happening.
Well, Phil does, right? Phil does, which is why this business has sustained, right? They've done a better job in this business. So I agree with that part of it, right? And why I'm bringing it up is the phone. That's where the problem is. But anyways, go ahead.
Right. No, but I guess what I was going to say is this is a calculation. They know there's going to be it's that whole creative destruction thing. You guys remember, like, Peter Moore was talking to IOP like a couple of years ago, or was it a year ago, when they did that back-to-back interview? He talked about creative destruction, and sometimes you got to move a step back to kind of move a few steps forward. So I think they are at that phase right now where they understand they are going to lose some of that energy. They are going to lose some of that brand aspect, and maybe a few fanboys or whatever do kind of just literally do smash their consoles instead of use AI and smash, whatever. But like,
we'll get a picture
that's
on that.
Yeah, like that stuff is going to happen. There is a calculated risk you take, but sometimes in order to be first in this direction, and in order to be the first to be the Netflix, maybe you got to be the first to kind of lose money as the old Best Buy or a Blockbuster, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like what is happening, and ultimately, I do think it is in their interest for the console, for people to like lower the energy in the console wars, because it will actually help them in the long run. If the Sony, if like all that for 4 decades, this there has been a culture built in the console industry that's different than gaming anywhere else. It's different than everything else, right? It is built on, there is a stakes with the sales, and we do care about the sales, because the more sales we get, the more exclusives we get, the more exclusives we get, the more sales we get, and it's a snowball, and we want to win. And you don't want to be Dreamcast, you don't want to be Atari Jaguar, you know, like that was the game, that was the meta. And for some people, it was the sport of this thing, right? It was it literally for some people, we joke about this, but I think this is true. There are some people that I think spend more time on Twitter talking about it, more time being obsessed reading about it.
Games.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's a sport to them. It is a sport with stakes. It's like me rooting for my Lions, right? They are rooting for their brand. And for Microsoft to go, okay, you got nobody to compete against, let that energy just kind of die down and let people start to make more logical, you know, wait, Gamecast does make sense now, because I do have a PC or a cloud or whatever that can access it. And I did just buy 4 of these things, or there is 4 or 5 games that are on there that I'm going to buy anyway. So maybe I should just go and subscribe. Like, all right. That's
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
but,
you need to cut me off.
No, just so you know.
So if this is about competition, let us have competition.
Exactly. Hargeet, let's go. We got another new member.
Mac City Ent has become a member. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, exactly. Now, all right. So Hargeet, your thoughts on this?
All right. So as far as like the original part of this is moving games over to other platforms, because I'm trying to remember where we even started this whole thing. We had like a 40-minute diatribe on this.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine, dude. It's all good.
Yeah, so this is more games coming over, right? And what you played as a clip was that there's no red line, but that doesn't mean everything is going over, right? So there's going to be games that are going to be exclusive. Even in the future, there'll be games that are going to be exclusive. It depends on the game and what's right for the game, where the team wants to go with it, right? So, and that's just kind of the way it is. Look, once ABK was bought, that accelerated all these things, right? We've been talking about this forever. We knew that in the end, it was going to happen, right? Because it just makes sense. Long term, if you're going to become large enough, there's no way to say that you're going to lock that down to a small segment of players when there's 3 billion players. And they've been saying this forever. They want 3 billion players. They don't want 40 million, 60 million. They want 3 billion players. How do you get to 3 billion players? You're going to expand beyond yourself. That's just the way it is. One part of that, we always forget that Windows is them. And so that is a billion or so customers that could potentially be playing games. Not all of those players play games, all billion play, but they do. There's some that do, right? The good chunk that do. A lot of that, by the way, is in these live games, right? So CSGO all the time, like, and Riot, like those games, right? They're playing those games. So yeah, that segment's there. They want that part. They want to go into that and say, hey, why the heck aren't we, getting something out of that as well? Even though, yes, they're buying our platform, which is great. Every time they sell an Xbox to you, they're losing money. Right. And Abe, you kind of hinted to this, right? Can we say that of PlayStation? I think they're kind of at least breaking even, if not making money on their consoles, right? And Nintendo has given up on the idea of subsidizing the consoles. They said, no, how about that? We're going to make money every time we sell a console. So that's where they are. Why the heck should Xbox do that anymore? So this is going to be a chicken and egg problem, right? I want a cheap console that has a lot of power that outdoes my competitor. Okay. That's always going to be at a loss then, because you want a price parity. So the better answer is you just open it, right? So instead of it being Windows is on Microsoft only devices, Apple, for instance, Mac OS is only on Apple devices. Hence, you pay a premium. Microsoft said, no, anybody can have this. We're not locking it down. Anybody can have this. You want Windows? Enjoy, right? We'll partner with anybody. Here are the restrictions. Follow that. Go do what you need to. Right? They partner with so many people. Now you can have cheaper devices, you can have more expensive devices, you can have fun devices, you can have corporate devices, you can have whatever, right? It's up to you, right? You pick out whatever you want. Massive ecosystem, absolutely the number one in desktop OS, right? So that's how that worked. Satya's looking at the same things, like why do you have these walled gardens? What's the point of this? This is the Mac OS model. Why are we doing that? Why don't we just say, hey, here's the OS. Hey, vendor A, vendor B, vendor C, D, E, F. We don't care. Go ahead and make an Xbox. Put it out in the market, and you can make it whatever spec you want. We don't care. Just got to be at least this much. It's got to work. Like you were saying, Abe, this is Windows 12. The game works. We don't care. Games are already written for us. You can have them. So now you can have a Dell, or you can have a Lenovo, you can have HP, you can have whoever you want. Don't care. It's just got to meet our spec. And they'll have some requirements, including some security requirements. You're going to have a security chip that's an Xbox security chip. Fair enough. They already do that with TPMs and all that stuff too, right? So fine. They'll build the machines. Here's the problem. It won't be cheap. You're not going to get the same level that you have today. You're not going to get a $300 Series S subsidized, probably about $150, $200 by Microsoft, right? Why? Why should they do that when they're probably not going to make any money off of it, right? So this whole rat race of trying to out console PlayStation, they're not going to do it. What they'll end up doing, and I keep saying this, and don't be surprised that a PlayStation in the future is what Microsoft is selling, because it makes their life easier too. There's no point in fighting it. At some point, you can keep saying, oh, but I want the store. They'll put the store on Windows, and who cares? That's what they're going to do. It's just going to make it easier for them too. What we end up with, I don't know. But in the future, it's going to be different. Things are going to just be able to run things natively. Most of the next generation does not care about this console war stupidity. They play on PC or mobile. Guess which platform is winning right now? It ain't console. PC's outdoing consoles, all of them. That's the way it is now. And it's just going to keep growing. That's where we're going. And Microsoft saw this years ago. Does Sony have a PC? You know who does? I'm just saying that's why the console war's over. They're like, yeah, that was last year. We're going to the future. And where we're going, you can't be. So you want to play that game? You can just join us. And that's kind of where things are.
Can you see if we're talking about like the next console or whatever, because we're talking about Microsoft who will eventually have a foothold with PCs, and then we're talking about Apple who are moving into, we're talking about Apple Arcade, Apple Gaming.
As well.
Like, is that will that be the new race? I don't know.
I think it's going to be more if SteamOS can really challenge Microsoft, that, and they have a chance to do it. That will be the race. It will be between SteamOS and Windows. The beauty of the Windows side of it is it's open, right? If you want to buy a game on Epic, fine. You want to buy a game on GOG, fine. You want to get it through Amazon, no problem. Steam, no problem, right? You buy it wherever you want. We don't care. If PlayStation puts a store in there, buy it. They don't care. It's an open ecosystem, right? The problem with SteamOS is they would have to port those stores over, write their games either natively or leverage Proton, which is fine. That's work those stores would have to do, and it might be worth it for them. So we will see what happens in the future, right? So that's going to be the fun, right? One side already has one piece, but they need the other part. SteamOS is a little head on the UI part of it. Microsoft is not, right? And that's what they're working on. And on the store side, certainly Windows wins, right? They have everything. And when it comes to that on SteamOS, they have just the Steam store, which, by the way, is fantastic because they have the Steam library, which is the biggest library, right? That doesn't mean all games work, but a majority of them do, and you get to play all the new stuff. It works generally, right? So that's kind of where they're going. And I think that could be a nice, back and forth, at least for competition, so we see feature changes, over time. And that, by the way, SteamOS has accelerated Microsoft into saying, "Oh, we got to fix this." Crap. So they're out there doing it, right? So that's always why competition is awesome, right? Now, what is going to happen to PlayStation? I think they're going to be good for a while. I think Xbox, the next hardware, will be good for a while. You'll get a dedicated piece of thing, right? Whether it's OEM plus Microsoft, which it will be. And you can buy the Xbox from Xbox. You can buy the Xbox from whoever else and enjoy, right? Just whatever. And you'll have your library. It'll all work. That's fine. That's the intent. If it works, great. If it doesn't, they're in trouble. So they'll have to figure that out. As they've been doing this whole multi-platform thing where they're putting more and more games everywhere, I had the same concern of, well, will third parties support the platform? And I gave two caveats. First, if they have enough first party, it will not matter because you will go there just like Nintendo because you want to play their games, right? Yeah. So even if those games are on other platforms, you say, well, damn, I could just pay $120 a year for my Game Pass with all these discount codes. And I get all these games? Why would I not want to be there? that just makes a lot of sense. I'll just buy their bloody box because it's cheaper for me and I get to play all their games. And they have tons of games I'm interested in playing, right? And as long as that keeps happening, it's a good win. The other one was merge PC, right? Once you do merge PC, now the content coming to your platform is eliminated because, like Abe was saying, it's the same bloody game that they're already publishing on PC. So
Same
if a
binary,
third party wants
yeah.
to publish the game, they've already published it. They just have to do one more certification to say, well, I'm putting it on that store. Done. Right? If they get to the point where saying, I don't care what store, your Xbox will play the Steam library, the Epic library, the GOG library, the whatever library, then you're done. Who cares? Buy your box, play all the games from wherever, buy it the cheapest wherever it works for you, use Game Pass, all up to you, right? Your choice. That's the system, right? And that way it becomes an open ecosystem, much like today, I buy a PC. Like you were saying, Doomcutie, the problem with PC is it feels like a computer, not a console.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to bridge to say, no,
Right.
why not? Why
Yeah,
not?
what if you could get the best of both, right? That's the
Because
question.
you want the app to look like the console and the console to look like the app.
Exactly. And they could partner and say it's going to default into the mode where it looks like a bloody Xbox. It boots up, you get your standard Xbox logo, everything looks the same. It could be a Dell box that's sitting under your TV. Who cares? You've got an Xbox ecosystem, boots up, standard Xbox interface, all controller based, no weird dialogue boxes, all clean, right? For you,
and
it's
that's
a console.
And
right?
and you know,
That's what they look
Hargeet, one of your favorite companies out there. I know you're like a big Nintendo fan. I think you can equate a lot of what's happening here. It's a totally different, bringing together totally different industries. But it's you remember there used to be a handheld experience and a console experience. And then what did Nintendo do? They kind of brought those two worlds together. I think like that's the thing that Microsoft is trying to do right now is bring those two worlds together. That you could say, hey, what are the things that I like about console gaming? What are the things that I like about PC gaming? And trying to merge those where you're going to get the options, the flexibility and things like that you get with PC gaming, but that you get a more plug and play cleaner experience for somebody who doesn't want to mess with all the drivers and the background things and like that doesn't want to delve into that, which I totally understand, and especially the form factor, because that's also a problem. Like I can't move that damn thing like underneath my big TV, right?
Exactly.
So like so those are the two. If you can bring those two things together, you are kind of creating a new just a new product. But it's a good question, Doomcutie, that you asked about the competition, because I think the competition, it's kind of hard to define, because I don't think it's necessarily straightforward, but it still exists. It exists. Like if you're going to try to sell people to go into one app versus another, it's going to be about the features and how it works. And clearly Microsoft has a long way to go on the PC side today with that. But if you're talking about the hardware, now you have Lenovo and ROG that could be competing with Xbox and other, or building your own PC. So there's a lot of different ways competition still exists. And I even would say for Microsoft, when people ask the question, well, what's in it for you if they go buy your box and all they do is play Steam? I think what it does for them is it's a user on Windows, because that's step number one. If you don't get them on Windows, you don't sell them Game Pass. You don't even have a chance. They're not even in your pond anymore, right? So as long as they're on Windows and they're buying your games, then you have a chance to expand that customer into buying more of your things.
And you know what? On that point, the school, my school that I worked at last year, we got a brand new set of laptops. They were Lenovo laptops, and we basically rent them from their education department. They get updated every year. That's what public schools do. And you boot them up, and you can see the Xbox logo on the bar. You can see it straight away, because all of a sudden you're seeing this imagery with Windows and Microsoft together. And you're automatically, and that's what like Microsoft Office, for example, they have the monopoly because they get people in, they give it to schools for free, right? So you're a user first before you're a customer. And I think that's incredibly smart. And yeah, just while you were talking about that, Abe, that reminded me of that, because yeah, it's already there. It's seamless, and you don't even understand what that kind of psychology does for business. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is why
exactly.
Minecraft was such a fantastic purchase, right? A lot of kids play that
Correct.
game, and it's a Microsoft game. It's an Xbox game, right? There's the introduction. Hey, this is Xbox, right? And that's what they
Mhm.
want to do. They want to have those big Call of Duty, right? They want to have those games that people just zeitgeist know. They just know, right? Everybody in the world knows these games as far as the gaming world, right? These are the big games. And outside of the gaming world, right? Call of Duty is a name that pretty much everybody knows why it's in the news, right? So people know what that Call
Yep.
of Duty is, right? And everybody's kids want to play Minecraft, so it's like, okay, everybody's Minecraft. That's what they want to know, right? So, and that's kind of where they are. But yeah, you're right. That's what they do. They did that for years and years and years and years. They just give away, all their stuff to students so that they grow up and all they I have to use Windows and I have to use Office.
Hey, the
Right.
Minecraft Education Edition is exactly what that is. They create like the integration with education is incredibly smart.
Yep.
It's fantastic for student engagement, but they're also creating customers before they're legal. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
it's really smart. People
Excellent.
aren't
No,
talking
it's a
about
good
it.
point. And when people ask the question is like, what are we getting back? It's like, no, you don't get it. Like this is, like them selling is eating into them selling their games over there where there's 100, whatever, 114 million or so active users is them eating into everybody else's sales over there. And I know like
And
that people here
that's
don't
an
care about it.
interesting point, right? Like, what does that do to PlayStation's own library? Like when they release games and Xbox puts a game next to it, who wins?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Right.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I brought that up on C Money's, but I'm like thinking about like the overall like there's only so much time, right? I'm looking at my library and saying I can't finish games. There's so many games. What happens if you pay for games? You have to choose, right? Are you going to buy Ghost of Yotai, or are you going to buy? Presuming they both come out this year, are you going to buy Ninja Gaiden? Are you going to buy Call of Duty? Are you going to buy Outer Worlds 2? You have to choose, right? So you got to pick which one of those you're going to get. If GTA comes out, good luck, right? That's probably what's going to get bought.
Mammoth.
But I'm just saying, look, is this going to start cannibalizing even more of the sales of those PlayStation exclusives, because Microsoft has a lot of games that are going to end up there, right? It's going to be like 2 to 3 to 1 number of games that Xbox is putting out every year, even onto PlayStation, than PlayStation. So what is that going to do to them?
Well, Hargee, I said this somewhere else, and I would kind of hesitate to say this. Maybe I had to think about how I put this better. But like one of the big concerns through the ABK trial was monopolization, right? Like the whole thing was about monopolizing, and they focused on the high end console segment. The irony is this approach where they're putting things everywhere is actually creates a more of a real, I'll just say, I'm not saying a likely, but a realistic opportunity to become too big, to become basically what Amazon is to retail, right? Where you have that much power as a publisher. Because I talked about the flywheel earlier. If you're getting your cake and you're eating it too, you're making money on the subscription, and you're making money on selling games, and suddenly you're able to make money off of IPs in ways that people can't make the same amount of, like, people don't have the business models to support those types of games. You're now kind of like creating an opportunity where, and especially as the industry like decides to consolidate and contract in the next few years, and you decide that, hey, maybe this is what ends up happening. Like industries, they go into these growth spurts, and when people get crazy and throw a bunch of money at it because they hope they'll get rich at the end of the game, or when the music slows down, and then what happens is, like, at the end of it, all the losers end up selling for pennies on the dollar or whatever. Their talent gets eaten up and everything like that. And the big shots that have the super established models, like that's what Amazon did. They started off as a bookstore, and before you knew it, they were buying everybody. They're buying Whole Foods, they're buying all these companies. And that is kind of like, if you were afraid of monopolies, the thing that Microsoft is doing today, and I'm not saying they're going to be a monopoly, but if you're afraid of that too big, the Amazon example, for example, this is the path to that, because nobody else has a thing that can support all this content the way that they do, because they have both. And you're getting to a point now with the subscription that nobody can really catch up one for one, because nobody else is going to have the software to do it. And so if the industry goes in that direction, they'll be fine. If the industry just keeps buying games, like they got, it creates an opportunity where they can keep adding to it. Whereas everybody else is looking to cut back today. Everybody else is talking about we got to cut things. BioWare is down to 100 employees, right? Like EA isn't doing new IPs really anymore. A lot of the big publishers are no longer doing new IPs. Like Sony, we need to figure out how to sell you more remasters until we can get our profitability back on track. Like that's where a lot of the industry is, and they're in a whole different spot because they're like, it's like, oh well, we just gained 100 million plus new users, plus our Game Pass is growing on PC, so maybe we can just, as these companies as the losers kind of fall off, we'll just can take more. So that it's anyways, off track, but you just brought up a point that I think doesn't get discussed enough, that this is actually, if you want to talk about nefarious, evil, big tech Microsoft,
I don't know if they intended to be that way, but this is one of those things where Jim Ryan crying, going over saying, oh no, it's the end of the world. Be careful what you ask for, right? Now you're getting all their games. They're going to compete with you on your platform. Just saying. Now you have to deal with that
Are you
headache,
ready to
right?
step up? Yeah, exactly.
So
everybody
handle that. So
good luck Ubisoft with your what is that racing thing to compete against Forza Horizon. Like it's with everybody,
exactly,
right?
Well, good
I will
push to the
say,
next topic.
Just on that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Forza Horizon. No, I've played both those games. They're different. They're very different. Just like when you jump into, did you play Need for Speed Unbound? Like you jump into that game, you jump into the crew, you jump into Forza Horizon. Completely different experiences. Some are just a little bit more refined. Some are more fun. Some are more cartoony. Some are more like neon. We're talking about, appealing to, the Fortnite generation, right? So they need all those like, cutesy effects and all that kind of stuff. Forza Horizon doesn't need that. They're coming from a simulation background, so like all these games can be appreciated, for their uniqueness. And I think I don't wish ill on the crew. I actually really, really enjoy playing it. Actually,
yeah. There you go. All right, so. Wow, what a great conversation so far. I absolutely love this show. This is great tonight. I hardly had to say anything. This is awesome. I'm just gonna sit back and like, oh yeah, it's cool. Good points. But no,
Dave, I know you invite me when you just feel like you want to take a break and kick back.
Stop it. Not at all. Dude, we love having you. Dude, now be honest, I've tried to invite you 4 times. And this is the first time you've been able to be on for the last like 4 or 5 months. And that's fine, but I'm just saying, I have reached out to you.
He's been busy. He's been busy.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the cat from Alien. That's all I'm saying. Jonesy. Yeah. Just
like if we want to move to the next topic we're talking about, it kind of leans into the first game that we see that's exclusive to Xbox is one of its beloved.
One of the 3 pillars, right?
Yeah, right.
This would be the 5th one, right? Or is it the 6th one? Right?
Is it
like
because
we had the Hi-Fi Pentiment, what's that little people grounded, and then
Grounded.
Little
destroying Honey, I Shrunk the Kids game, right? And then Sea of Thieves, right? And now we have Forza Horizon.
But
there's another one announced.
So,
but it has not out yet. The Indiana Jones. It's coming.
Indy, right? This is the 6th one, So Indiana Jones as well.
Yeah, but like you think about the pillars of Xbox, as you said, WebDave. Like I would say, Forza Horizon 5 is probably the even though it hurts, I think for the people who bleed green, it's probably one of the lesser. Like imagine Halo. Like, can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine?
Oh, that's
coming.
coming.
Yeah, I know, but
pull the Band-Aid off mentally, everybody. Do it today. You'll be better when you get here.
What's coming? What did you say?
Halo, Gears, Forza, the whole slate.
No.
Oh, for sure.
Happen. Make their money, Microsoft. Keep my Game Pass number 1. Just saying. Oh, and
no,
interrupt you, but I'm just going to say, we welcome out to the over 480 people watching us live on X and on YouTube and one on Twitch right now. So thank you all so much for being here and enjoying this. And Hargeet, are you there still? Are you handy? I can't tell. Sometimes he sneaks away. He may. All
Uh-oh.
right. So I'm
I just
no,
want
it's
to
not
like,
that. It's just that we have a
yeah.
super chat that he needs to read before we keep going. But that's all right. He's got. I guarantee you, he's got his earbuds in. He's across the room, and he's like running back to the computer. But that's all right. I'll go ahead and do this one. All right. So this is actually very nice. Scarcity relevant. Says 2 of my favorite contributors, Doomcutie and OBM. I can't read my own name.
Aw,
Let's
that's
see.
nice.
Killer Show Dave, and a big shout out to the Eternal Smile from Hargeet. Yes, exactly. Love from Brisbane. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you being here, and thank you for the $5 super chat. And I'm telling you, Doom, like I said, I do reach out to you on occasion because I don't like to, harass somebody constantly going, be on the show, because, if I could have you on every week, I would love to. Just saying. But my point is, everybody's time is precious, and I am so grateful that both of you guys are here, and I do mean that. And hopefully this won't be your last time. Hopefully you'll come back again in the future, because like I said, this show works because of amazing community content creators such as yourselves. And there he is. Hargeet.
Yeah, sorry about that. Quick bio break.
Yeah, you are. I'm just kidding. I butchered it. You
No,
know that.
when I say
Go
that
ahead.
Forza is lesser, I mean probably like when we talk about like community love, maybe I don't know. Yeah, I think they thought, well, we'll start with Forza, see how that goes, and then we'll figure out the rest later. But we're talking about games that rely on communities and a lot of multiplayer aspects in their games, and I think really like there's absolutely nothing wrong with PlayStation players or people who own a PlayStation to play Forza Horizon 5 on their consoles. It's totally fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. We're talking about a game.
Oops.
Yeah.
It's pulling up people whose feelings were hurt, but
Yeah, this is like AI generated.
That one
I
is for
know,
sure.
I know. It's a bunch of
Okay, all right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bunch of quality.
People just love the
Thanks,
they love
Joey
the
Honda,
clicks.
for pointing out.
Anything for the clicks.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I think the more people that play this game, it's going to be better, because you think about it, they're going to get more money. People are going to be paying $70 for this game. Like it's going to make more Forza Horizons come out. It's going to make more, potentially more events. Better promotion around the games. Like I see this as a benefit overall. And at the end of the day, like, if a PlayStation is going to be an Xbox, like what a slap in the face, you know what I mean? But I was doing a little bit of research around the company that's actually responsible for porting it to PlayStation 5, and they're called Panic Button. I don't know if you've ever heard of them before.
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so they've had a specific focus on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation. They put it Doom 2016. So look, I think it's really, really promising, and it just means that we get to have more Forza Horizons coming out. Hopefully, I really hope we get like I hope we get Tokyo. Like that would be actually legit.
Exactly. No, I think so.
Well,
too.
and you know what else, Doomcutie? What else it helps is that it helps subsidize Game Pass, makes it more.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, exactly. There was something else I wanted to say as well. I can't remember. Yeah, like so these multiplayer games, it just means that more people are going to be playing this game, and we're talking about like Forza Horizon 5 actually has a massive. They put a lot of attention to the community created content in the game. So we're talking about the realms that are created by each of the people that play the game. There's multiple really like Dong Song, if I'm saying that correctly, fantastic contributor to the community. And it would also, if we're going along that thread, we're talking about user generated content that's really, really great for business. It's really, really great for video games as well. So and to that point, look how successful Starfield's community created content has been.
Yep.
I can imagine that if we rip this Band-Aid off, if Halo moves to PlayStation as well, That's only going to increase that user-generated content, the community-based content that we all know and love. It it keeps the game
Playlist.
alive. Yeah, exactly. So people can cry about it. I think people thought I would be really, really upset about it, but I'm not. I just hope that this means in the future that we get more fresh Forza Horizon content. And once PlayStation users realize that they're paying $70 for this incredible game, mind you, it does deserve, paying $70 for it, access to, nearly 900 cars, for, they're used to Gran Turismo. It doesn't even touch that. It's not even on in the same planet as that game. They'll realize, hang on, I can play this game and all these other cool games for this amount of money on Game Pass. It's just a no-brainer, really.
Well, Doomcutie, you bring up a good point that I don't think a lot of people think about in our bubble. Like like I mentioned earlier, the bubble of us gamers that grew up in the console war culture. Yeah. But what's interesting, I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to younger people. My daughter is 19. My girlfriend's son is 20. And it's interesting because like in those groups, and again, this could be anecdotal, but I think the data is kind of supporting this, is that those groups, those age groups, generations, like they build their communities around the games, not around the console. Like I was asking my girlfriend's son about it, and I was like, do people really talk about Xbox versus PlayStation? He says not really. So like we all play the same stuff. Like we all get on there and like we are either playing Marvel Rivals or Fortnite. And it's interesting because like one of the things that kind of occurred to me is like when you have all these friend groups and they all play on, maybe one person's on PC, one's on a Xbox, one's on a PlayStation. Like the thing is, even the person on the Xbox may not play Halo if their friends can't. If one of their friends can't. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's like splitting their gamer base. And like my daughter, she plays Fortnite on her Xbox Series S that's in her room. Her friend, her one of her best friends plays with her on and has kind of like walked her through Fortnite on her PS5. And it's like there's not any like discussion about where you're playing it. It's the game, right? Yeah. So everything you're talking about is true. And like I'm the Halo fanboy. You guys, everybody heard me before knows that I think Halo needs this. I think they need to go day one on the next multiplayer badly. I think that's that. I mean, I'm not saying it's ever going to catch up to the top 10 black hole games, but no matter what, it'll be better than the state it's in. It'll get more support than it's got. It'll have better playlists than it has. It'll be better supported over time. And I'd be relieved for it to be released from the whole console war conversation where every time it comes out, it's got to be the thing that saves the ecosystem. It can just be the best game it can be, and people can either take it or leave it for that. So I think it's healthier for a lot of these and Forza Horizon, out of everything in Microsoft's portfolio that wasn't currently multi-platform, makes more sense than any of them because it's bigger than Halo and Gears probably combined right now. So it's got like 40 million plus people that play it. And I think Halo and Gears would love to be able to say that they could retain half of that. So yeah, it really does make a lot of sense just to continue, because I think Forza Horizon has a shot to, the next one that comes out, and maybe this next one is more, instead of just coming out with 2 DLCs and moving on, maybe they keep the thing going for a while. And this ends up being the next tier of black hole game. I think it has a shot at it.
Yeah. So that I honestly, I'm totally there with you. Like people are playing games on any platform. It doesn't matter because they love their games and that's what they're building their communities. You're totally correct in that. And I think, them jumping into relying on the community and leaning into the realms within Forza Horizon 5, it breathes new life into the game, really consistently. And then they can add into their playlists, what they're developing, and they can, test out new things there. And then that can feed their information for the next game and all that kind of stuff. And they do a really, really great job of celebrating the community as well. So yeah, Hargeet, I want to know what's your vibes? What's how you feeling?
Abe's turn first. Let's let Abe go.
No, Abe.
Oh wait,
Abe
I went like I took my turn like every few seconds.
All right,
we were having a conversation.
So let's see. So Forza Horizon going over, like we've heard this whole thing. Halo MCC, we've heard this whole thing. It's supposed to be some Gears collection coming. Maybe if it is, that's supposed to be going over there as well. Look, I think this is all good just to make money, and that's kind of where they are at this point. We have to look at the whole market and say, all right, is anybody at the level of Microsoft? Well, no, they literally just said in December they were the #1 publisher, right, in revenue. So no, nobody's at their level. Who can really maintain a platform and say it's going to be locked to us? Well, you could do that if you were 90% of the market, right? But that's not who they are. And that's like, that would not be good for gaming, right? So it's better to just say, these are our sloppy seconds. Go ahead and put them over there. Like, fine, whatever.
That's hard.
They may get there. They may get the
Wow.
first.
Let's be fair.
Though. I mean, like, pull the Band-Aid off, though. They might get the first. I feel day and date.
There's
is
a
coming
bunch
for a
of
lot
day and dates coming, right? And
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
those continue to be day and date for every game, no, because look, South of Midnight is not, supposedly.
Right.
Avowed is not, right? Are there going to be games? And Phil said it, right? That not everything, but we will make considerations based on the need of the game. And that's where it's going to be, right? There's no red line. It's going to be any game. We will look at it and say, does it make sense? Right? And
Mhm.
multiplayer games, we will see. It is yet to be understood whether a PlayStation player will do this or not. They do it with free to play. They play Call of Duty. Sea of Thieves sold 1 million copies to 150 million players, right? That's PS4 and 5 because it was a PS4 game. That's it. 1 million. Okay. That's not substantially a lot. 40 plus million so far in Forza Horizon 5, something like that. Is that right? Something in that range.
Yeah.
Is that really going to be eclipsed over there? Is there going to be 5-10 million players over there? We will see. We are yet to see, right? And by the way, I fully expect this to also come to Switch. When Switch 2 gets announced in April, I expect the announcement for this as well. So it should be coming there as well. We will see what that means, right? And this is the test, what Phil was saying, right? We're going to test it. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Will they flock to it? Let's say they put MCC over there. Will there be 10 million players? Will there be 500,000 players? The problem with live service on PlayStation, well, PlayStation themselves had to learn,
Mm-hmm.
didn't they? Are there gamers supporting live service games? We will find out, right? We will find out. Now, Halo MCC has some of the best first-person shooters ever in Halo 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Will they play those games? I don't know. They're old. These are old games. Let's be fair. Will they actually play them? I don't know. It's not an audience they've cultivated. Like you were saying, Abe, the games they play are the ones they can play with their friends, and usually they're the black hole games, the Fortnites, Marvel Rivals, right? Those are the games they're going after where you don't even have to pay for online. That's the stuff they go for. MCC will still require PSN to play online.
Yeah.
Will they do it? I don't know. We don't know. We will find out. This is the stuff we will find out as we do it, right? So as Xbox goes over there with more games, we'll see the numbers. They're going to have to figure out, is this working or not? Is Switch a better platform for certain games? Is PlayStation better for certain games? I'm actually surprised they're not doing South of Midnight on PlayStation, because I think that's the kind of player that's over there.
Yeah,
right?
I think they.
I think it'll get there.
So.
I think it'll be there. But that, I think, is a game that's more in their, like the third-person action adventure game. That's their kind of game, right?
And it's a smaller team working on that, right? Because it's only like a $40 game.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a smaller team that's been
So.
stretched, like that are stretching themselves to the limit in terms of.
To get that game up. So
they basically grew enough. I keep going. Sorry.
So as far as them, buying, putting Forza Horizon 5 there, I don't care. It's an old game. My other little hesitation was, how much longer is this game going to be sellable? The license issue always comes up, and they usually have to pull it from the market. Is this a year or two from being, like sunset? I don't know. We'll find out, right? So that's kind of another thing to keep, an eye on. How long will they have this over there? But usually a big chunk of the sales happen like right at release. Again, we'll see if the audience wants to buy this kind of game or not on that platform. We will see. There's an assumption that, hey, we love it. It's great. Look, a lot of people here got to try it because it was in Game Pass. Even if you bought it, it was in Game Pass. And people could just play it and say, oh, man, this is good. I'm just going to buy it because it's awesome. Or people who are fans of the series will just buy it because they know what they're getting, right? That's not the case here. They're not fans of the series. This is a new customer base.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people will say I'll double dip. I have it on Xbox, but let me go buy it over here. Fine, if you want to, great. I think it's going to be more about people who are casually interested. Say, hey, this is something different. Let me try it. Right? How many they get in that? I don't know.
Well,
know.
the thing is, that's
But we will
because
see.
Sony hasn't positioned themselves in any kind of way to be like, hey, you can try Forza Horizon 5, or
Yeah,
maybe
these are the
give them
things, right?
access to just like I said, like I was talking before, like the focus on the realms, right? It's like, oh, you can like creating like almost two separate versions of the game where you can access some of the realms where no, it doesn't. That does not exist, and it's just like you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. You're setting yourself up to fail to create users on your platform. So it's just, I don't know. I look. I love Forza Horizon 5. I will
Of
buy
course.
it. I will buy
Yes.
it on PlayStation.
Really? Just
but-
to try it out to see the differences?
Yeah, like I have a PS5. Like, I'll blow the dust off it and give it a go. But like I hope that they bring like some special things to it, like
Maybe, yeah.
like that would be really, really cool. Like what if they, I don't know, did like they've got a really good foothold on the like the what are they called, the shell of the boat of a PS5. They could make it
The
a limited
fins,
edition one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They could make
Yeah,
one like they did with Spider-Man. Like I would love that.
Yeah, I doubt
That
they
Or
would
a
do it,
controller.
but
yeah, and that would be really cool. But yeah, I don't know if they'll do that because these aren't the IPs that they love. They're only going to put money into things that they love,
Yet.
and instead of worry, well, yet. But anyway, I like we said, time will tell. But I think the cognitive dissonance that exists in these gaming communities, and no offense to y'all, but you guys are aging, and I know change is hard.
We are getting replaced by the kids. That's what these
Yeah.
corporations are
well,
looking
as
at.
consumers, that's one of the things they have to look at, right? Because those kids
Yes.
are also
Yeah.
getting older and into the point where they can spend money and they want to get their
And
money.
have more
That's it. It's just-
time, and
that's just the way it is, right? And that's going to keep happening over and over again. But either way, I think this is a good thing because eventually it just means there's more money in the pile. And look, once they bought ABK, once they spent that, like plus Bethesda and all that stuff at like $80-100 billion, whatever they've spent, right? They're like, okay, this is serious stuff. You're now one of the pillars of our economics at Microsoft. So now you need to show the returns. And as long as they can keep showing good returns, and that comes from doing like, hey, I'll take these few back catalog games, I'll put them over there. Okay, cool. Does it mean anything to me? My box is still running. I can still get it day and date in Game Pass. I can still pay for the advanced, premium edition and get, the 3 days, 5 days ahead of time thing. All that still happens for me, right? And we get to play it when all the zeitgeist fun is happening, and they can play it 4 years later, 3 years later, whatever. Fine, whatever. And if they continue that path for a lot of games, fine, whatever. It just means more money in the coffers. They're happy at corporate, more investment from Xbox, right? That's what we end up with. And so it really feeds Game Pass. So we continue to keep getting the surprise Ninja Gaiden 4 announcement at a Dev Direct. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
That
right?
was that really was it was not on my bingo card for this year.
Right?
I mean, if you keep bringing back things, if you keep doing that, I don't give a shit. Like what, just figure out what makes that sustainable is all I say.
Exactly.
But the one thing I'll bring up because I was thinking about this as you guys were talking about the potential on PlayStation. In the early days of Game Pass, if you remember, one of the things that we heard is that the early wave of games that Microsoft published were actually selling more on Xbox than they projected, and they said the reason is because the smaller base of Game Pass users was driving all that virality and like hype around them, and then they would end up selling more. Eventually, that kind of dissipated because at some point it gets big enough users are on it, and suddenly you are now like you're just hyping people who already got Game Pass instead of people who are buying games. And so and that's one of the things that we heard from Amy Hood actually 3 months ago when she projected this quarter, she said, "Hey, we're going to make less off of Call of Duty this time because we are, we're going to get people that are going to access the game on Game Pass for the first time ever, some that are already accessing it. But essentially what was going to happen is we're going to receive less money up front, but we'll get it back in the long run, is what she said. So that's why it still works in the plan, even though they made less on Call of Duty than they would have if it wasn't in Game Pass. But the one thing that ends up happening now is by expanding the PlayStation and Switch, you kind of like reinvent or reintroduce that thing where you're not necessarily cannibalizing. Like you probably are going to sell more than you would if you didn't have Game Pass, right? Because it at some point it reaches a percentage where it's going to cannibalize. But until that point, it actually ends up as a like marketing tool for everybody else that doesn't have it, which is all 100 plus thousand on or 100 plus million on PlayStation, all the 100 plus million that are on Switches. So like there is this thing, I get what you're saying, Hargeet, but I do think that in the future, when they start testing out more of these day and date things, they may end up selling more to PlayStation and Switch gamers than they would have if they never had Game Pass because of that marketing that comes over. So there is a chance that now you can grow these things there at a time, like you guys pointed out, that that Sony isn't really publishing as much as they used to. So an opportunity there.
An opportunity to get more money from PlayStation players who are waiting for games. So it's a good time to put a bunch of games over there.
Hey, look, the money is burning, they in their pocket,
yes. And they keep saying that they're payers. They like to pay. They don't understand this whole idea of
they have more money than Xbox players. So
right. So they don't have money to buy the console. Apparently, that's too much. But they do want to pay $70 to $100. Some of them are like, "Oh, I need to pay $100. I need to pay $100. $100. Oh, I'll pay $150." So, okay, if you want to pay $150, you know what? There's a $100 edition.
Please do.
Please pay $100. Absolutely. Editions are there for you to pay the $100, and we will keep enjoying our Game Pass. So, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to see just how much they put their money where their mouth is. So please pay, and let's see what you do with it. Right? This is one of those marquee ones, like you were saying, Doomcutie. This is one of those like the top three, like it's the pillars, right? We got Halo, Gears, and Forza. This is one of the pillars. Let's see what they do. I want to see 10 plus million sales.
I can't wait.
Bring it on, gallopers. Bring it on.
Exactly. And the one thing I will say real quick on that is that when it comes to Microsoft making money, rolling in, and that's just gonna feed the beast of Game Pass. And
now this is only on 5, right? Not 4. PS5 only, not PS4.
Don't know.
Oh, that's a good
Forza Horizon 5 was
PS5.
certainly an Xbox One game, right? It was an Xbox One Plus Series,
Right.
So it was a cross-gen game, but I think this is coming to 5 only, I think.
Only 5, yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it is a little bit of a smaller install base, but still,
yep.
I'm expecting 10 million. 10 million, you guys need to buy. Pay up, ponies. Pony up. Pony up.
That's funny.
Pony up.
Love
you need to
Who has the biggest pony? We want to see.
Exactly. Jesus. Oh my gosh, you guys are absolutely amazing. So guys, look, we're coming close to the top of the next hour, so we're probably going to do the small topic, and then that way we can wrap things up, because I don't want to keep everybody here all night, because God knows we could actually sit and talk all night, because I love it, and I'm so grateful to my panel tonight. I really am. And a reminder that next week we will not have a show next week, because next week is the Super Bowl in the United States, and we will be watching that, and no one will be here watching us.
Who's doing the halftime show?
I don't know. There's a lot of rumors.
Because that's the only thing I think about the Super Bowl, because I don't know what team is what. I don't know what's going on.
That and the commercials.
I don't even know the rules.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for both teams to lose, to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
That's funny. That's funny. 3-peat would be nice. A 3-peat, that would go. Get the stain of the Patriots.
No,
just kidding.
I can't decide who I want to lose more.
No,
but
denied.
You want to lose more?
Eagles for the win.
That's so.
Do they have any gaming commercials during that time?
Sometimes it
Generally,
just
they're
depends.
I've seen some in the past.
Would
That
love
be
for a
cool.
Game Pass one. That would be smart, but that's just me. But and it's not like they don't have the money to do it because they definitely could. It's like 6 million is a 30-second spot.
Kendrick Lamar. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Kendrick
there you
Lamar.
go. There you go. And he's supposed to have guests like Taylor Swift. A couple other people might pop on his stage. Who knows? But yeah, so that's the possibility.
Taylor Swift will
as
definitely
well.
be there, right?
She definitely will, one way or the other.
Are they still together? I think they are, right?
Yes,
Wait, is he on the team?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
her boyfriend's actually a player on the team. Yeah,
I'm way. Oh,
there you
That's
go.
why the
I, like,
NFL
rise
fixed these
from the
games for
stage.
KC.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about the
it.
money.
You know, because
For sure.
because all the girlies come watch Casey because they know that she'll be there. So that's why they get the refs in the back pocket. But yeah, we'll keep going. That's another subject for another podcast.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. So there is, I guess. Oh, we had a couple of topics we could go with, but let's just. I just want to bring up this Demo Flow Gaming, who's actually been a guest here before. He's a super nice guy, and he had this really nice post. I guess kind of highlighting the benefits to the Xbox ecosystem, and I kind of thought that was kind of nice, and maybe a good way to kind of round off the show. Let's see here. I'm going to stop that video and do this to get it to bring up. So shout out to Demo for this. Greatly appreciated. But yeah, imagine hating on Xbox in 2025. First party releases day one on Game Pass. Strong roadmap for 2025 and beyond. Let's see, amazing deals. Definitely. Quick resume. Yeah. It actually is a thing. Reforge. Sorry to disappoint you. Let's see. Play everywhere. Real retro community. Compatibility, I should say. Yes.
Yep.
Sorry. Dyslexia should be a crime, but it's not. Let's see. First person boost and also FPS boost. Sorry, and smart delivery is awesome. Reward system and a variety of games. What are y'all crying about? Exactly. Lots of great stuff. With that said, we'll start with Hargeet, and then we'll see what your any comments on that. I mean, it's all facts, right?
Yeah, and if you are a Game Pass subscriber, one other thing to note is that there's a lot of microtransactions for Call of Duty. Those now all have a discount, right? Because that's just part of Game Pass. You get a discount for all DLC, right? Everything that you buy. So it's just yet another benefit, right? You get the game and you get a discount on any microtransaction you're doing within Call of Duty, which is a lot. Generally, it's a lot of money that comes in, right? So hey, what? But I the other side gets to pay for all that stuff, and continue to pay. Please continue to pay. We expect full price. You should pay, so we can play. So you enjoy the paying, we'll play. So that's basically the message. Is the other side, they get to pay full price, full boat. We get all the discounts. We just get to play, right? I think one of them was like, they pay, we push play, right? That's kind of one of the things that you get out of Game Pass. Is I like this game. Let me try it. Boom. Right? Whether you try it in cloud or download it, there it is. Right? So you just get to play the game. That's the beauty of Game Pass. And this is a lot of games day and date that come in third party plus a huge, strong first party. Is right. And all these features, they matter. Smart delivery is not a joke. It's really cool that you don't have to worry about it. You just get the latest version of the game. Done. Right? They just handle this for you. FPS boost for old games. Why not? It also, by the way, does up-resing of old games. So you get 4K up-res for a lot of older games. So there's a lot of cool features that are just natively just there. You just have it, right? So very, very cool ecosystem. Automatic cloud save. Don't have to pay for that. It's not behind a paywall. So your game saves are just there. Your entire setup is just there. You log in on any Xbox. You just get everything. Your background, everything, all just shows up, right? You want to play a game, you just download it again. Your saves just come with you, right? You don't feel like you don't care. You can replace the box at any time, and you're still up and running. It doesn't matter. You can go to your friend's Xbox, no problem. Just log in, you're there.
Yep.
Right. It's just a different experience. It's just you don't worry about the whole. I have my stuff on that box over there, and I can't do that over here. And like, it's funny to me. Like every time I do something on a Switch, it's like, I downloaded that game on that Switch. I can't use it on this Switch. It's like, I don't worry about that shit. I just play my game.
And I love the
just log in
saves
and
go to
play my game.
go to the cloud. Saves,
I
cloud
have
saves.
5 Xboxes in the house.
Amazing.
It doesn't matter which Xbox I go to. I just log in and there it is. I just play my game. I don't. It doesn't matter to me, right? These little things, they matter if you are in a world of multiple players, and it's just a different, like, you know, the thought process where everything is kind of on you when it's on these other platforms. Microsoft just, it's all in the background. Like, it's just so cool to have that. There's a lot of cool capabilities here. If I'm on Game Pass, same game, I can play it on my PC or I can play it on my console. I choose, right? For Starfield launch 30, I'm like, well, we got this 4090 sitting here. I'll just play it over here on my PC, and it runs at whatever frame rate it can handle, right? So there you go, right? Your choice. And by the way, the saves go back and forth. So if I ever wanted to play it on console, I can, no problem, right? So this is kind of the beauty of what they're trying to create. I love the ecosystem, and this is what you keep getting. And they haven't said everything happens day and date on everywhere. A lot of games will, especially legacy games that have any tie to the platform, right? That those games will probably go there. And why not, right? What the heck? Just get more money. But there will be some exclusives. You'll still have those if that matters to you. You have to always think the thing that should matter to you. Do you have a platform that sustains? Do you have games to play on that platform? And are you having fun? Is it valuable enough for you? That's it. It doesn't matter what's happening over there, right? You can go there if you want to.
But
matters what you're doing here.
Hargeet,
Are you having fun?
If it doesn't help me win the console war, how is that?
You already won the
benefit
console war.
me?
It's done. The
Oh,
console
you
war is
already
done.
won.
The console war is over.
We
No,
all
it's just
won, baby.
over.
We all won.
Like Doomcutie was saying, you know what is an Xbox? Windows. What's in that by default? An Xbox icon. You know why? Because it's built into the freaking OS. When you're writing a game, you're writing it to DirectX. Who wrote DirectX? It's the Xbox team wrote DirectX. Where is all this new stuff of Xbox integration into Windows happening? It's Jason Ronald. Where does he report? Xbox. Sorry, folks. If you're a Windows player, you are an Xbox player. And that's the way it is. They already won. It's done. It's already over. They've gone past you. The platform that's growing is Windows and mobile.
There you go.
Is PlayStation there? Is PlayStation there? Yeah, you know what they're doing? They're porting their games over to Windows because that's what they want to do. They want to put their games there.
They want to be on Xbox.
Exactly. They want to be an Xbox. They are an Xbox. But we do have a member that we want to make sure we mention that, and a super chat, and then a gifted.
Absolutely. Oh wow, we have gifted $5. Scott Gamer Dude became a member. Thank you. And Scott Gamer Dude, $5. Bring up something I experienced consumer-friendly Xbox Blizzard. Bought collector's edition of WoW. Reimbursed for standard edition already bought.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Blizzard has always had that practice. It's not because they're linked to Xbox that they can do that. But yes, it's very good. It's a good industry practice. Yes.
It is.
And WebDave himself has gifted 5 memberships. And those went to Raichi, Loki478, Gummy, Lawless Paradox, and Eli. Enjoy.
Exactly. You have access to all of the members. We have over almost 500 people watching us right now, and we're not going yet. We're gonna go around the horn. We're gonna go to Doomcutie, and then we're going to end on OBM to get their comments on this last little topic. But just so you guys know, right now, like I said, we're owing people on X, on YouTube, and 1 on Twitch, and still nobody on TikTok. I guess I got to stream there first before that to happen. But just kidding. So yeah.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
Hey, welcome, Post Up. Good to see you there. A lot of great members of the community here today. We greatly thank you each and every one for joining us today. But like I said, we're not done yet, so don't go anywhere. And just so you all know, after this show is done, completely done, as soon as the outro music plays, it automatically gets sent over to Pixelated Echoes. So that will be the show with 3-Bit and Fuzzy Belvedere. And of course, Fuzzy is a big racer, so he's going to have a lot to say about the Forza being on there. So please stick around, stay here for us, and then as soon as we're done, we're going to send you right over. You don't have to do a thing. You just got to click the button and be like, "Ooh, send me there." All right, so Doomcutie, your thoughts about the Demo Flow's post, and do you see anything on that list that stands out to you as it is absolutely great ecosystem to be involved in?
Probably something I do want to make reference to that I'm not sure if people really know about.
Mhm.
I actually did a campaign for this company, not last year, the year before, I think. And basically within the Microsoft reward system, which is integrated into Xbox,
Mhm.
because Microsoft is Xbox and Xbox is Microsoft. You
Hmm.
can use these reward points actually to not only claim things in your real life, like gift cards to like your local shop that you love, to fund that next game that you want to play, to pay for your Game Pass. I know one person who hasn't paid for Game Pass in, I don't know, however long it's been available to do that. They've never actually paid for Game Pass because they actually engage with this ecosystem that regularly. And I actually did a little bit of calculations in regards to that. But I'll first note that you can use your Microsoft rewards points, so you can play games and you can actually contribute to charities. And you can contribute as little as $1, which is 1,000 Microsoft rewards points, and you can earn those through playing your video games, and you can give back to society, which I think is really, really amazing. But people always joke that you can play games and then make a living out of that. So in order to earn $500 a week doing this, you'd have to get 9,000 points per day, which is actually quite a lot. So you'd have to like search across using Bing. You'd have to do on both mobile and on desktop. You need to do quizzes and surveys. All of these things are really fun and really easy to do. So it's actually it's not sustainable to give like a full-time wage, but it can definitely supplement your life and supplement your gaming. So and I'm not sure if people actually use that to its actual full potential. But yeah, get onto it. I think as they make more updates to their app, and they increase their integrations with AI, with the Bing and the search engines and things like that, I think that will be really, really cool. And yes, you might find Google is much better, but you don't get these free points. You don't get this free money from doing that on Google. So yeah. I'm glad that he mentioned that. Yeah, I mean, good for him. This is very simple. This is a simple read for people who need things put plainly and simply.
Mhm.
Well done on that.
Exactly. Got it, the demo. That was awesome. So yeah, exactly. OBM, One Bad Mother. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think what he's pointing out is, beyond the exclusive thing, why you play in an ecosystem. And honestly, I don't know about all of you, but I mean, back in a few years back, I had both systems, and I bought the PlayStation to play things like God of War and play it in Spider-Man. And then, the reason why I was playing on the Xbox at that time wasn't because of a Crackdown 3. I'll just be honest with you. So like there is a lot of reasons why you are in an ecosystem. Most of them really don't have to do with exclusives, because you can just dip in for a limited time and dip out. But I'm mostly on PC these days. But what was nice is, when I take a trip out of town, I can grab a console, and any of those Play Anywhere games, I can pick up where I left off on saves. And when they do a handheld, I'll be doing the same thing there. And ultimately, though, I think the number one thing that I really like about what they're doing, and one of the reasons why I'm in the minority in terms of in terms of the community and their approach to putting these things everywhere, even day one, is that I do think that Game Pass has value beyond just it's the whole meme of it's the best value in gaming. I think it's only the best value in gaming for some types of gamers. It may not be the best value for a lot of people. But the thing that I hope is that it does continue to sustain itself, because I think it offers another avenue for certain types of games to get attention, to become more popular, to be a little bit more accessible. It's the closest thing we have to be able to play traditional premium games in a almost free to play model, right? It kind of splits the difference there. And so I think that, really the competition right now in the industry isn't the consoles anymore, like I said earlier in the show, but I do think Black Hole Games versus everybody is really the thing that's going on. And I think what they're doing with by being a publisher that is publishing all these diverse single player things, I don't care where they're putting them, what platform, the fact that it is sustainable because they also have a Game Pass as a side piece, that is something that that I value about the ecosystem right now, and something that I hope continues to be sustainable, because it does at least create another avenue for newer generations of people to not take as much risk trying these things. And maybe we can turn the tide somewhere down the road. Maybe it won't just be 10 Black Hole games that are the only things half the gamers in the world play. Maybe something like subscriptions can be a way where they start to try other things, and as we get older, those things are continue to be in general strong. So that's it. Play Anywhere, Game Pass. I think those are the best aspects of what they're doing from an ecosystem standpoint. And whenever they throw something on Play Anywhere, if it is a third-party game, I do pick it up there. As bad as their PC app is today, that is still something that has a lot of value that I think gets overlooked today. But as people get more and more devices that can play games, I think that will be something that may gain traction over time.
There you go.
That's all I got to say about that.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Like I said, I think it's been a great show tonight. I really appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Anything else to add, Hargeet? Are you ready to wrap this thing up?
No. We already talked about it, so good enough.
There you go. All right, so let's bring it back to the four of us, guys. Wow, thank you all so much. Please stick around in the chat. As soon as the show is over, it's going to send you automatically to Pixelated Echoes, which we greatly appreciate that. And I'm going to be watching that because I got some good stuff on there for real. So again, thank you to over 500 people watching us tonight on YouTube and on X and one on Twitch. And again, thank you to Doomcutie for being here. Doom, please tell everybody how they can reach out to you, where they can find you at.
Oh, where they can find me? Well, you can find me weekly on my own podcast called Confessions of a Gamer Girl. We don't really talk about the console wars or anything like that. We talk more about societal issues around gaming and our own experiences in that. We have a more intimate community. Which is nice. So yeah, definitely check that out. We go live on Twitch and then we post the VODs on YouTube. So just type Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast on Google. Really, there's only one thing that comes up ahead of us, and that's the person that owns confessionsofagamergirl.com. But they don't post regularly. So everything else, that's mine.
Nice.
And I've actually. WebDave, you were talking about TikTok. I've actually just started streaming on TikTok.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a different beast to YouTube. But yeah, and I'm hoping to bring my podcast there as well, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, you can find me on that. You can find me on Twitter. Just look up Doomcutie. You'll see my little face in the little box.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm most active on Instagram, so go ahead and find me there.
There you go.
And
There you go.
Doomcutie as
And
well.
just so everybody knows that all her links are in the description. Well, most of them, except for TikTok. I didn't add that one. But their links are in the description of this video below. So please check on that. Click on it. All your links are right there. Plus the auto version, which will go up right as soon as the show's done. If you're listening to us later, then you would definitely be able to click on those links. We'll be there as well, too. So Doomcutie, again, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it.
It's a great conversation. Great panel.
There you go. OBM, one bad mother. Sir, thank you so much. Please tell everybody where they can reach out to you, because you are active on X, Twitter. So please tell everybody, where you're at, and then and you got some big plans coming up in the future, which I know you're gonna.
Yeah, I stopped talking about them because I delayed them. And
Yep.
first of all, I want to just say thank you for inviting me for what is it, 4th or 5th time.
Well, you're most welcome, sir.
Appreciate that, and and also thank you for letting me take over and being the substitute teacher today at times. I do get carried away, especially when I haven't been podcasting very much lately. Yeah, eventually at some point this year I will get back to it. Just a lot of things I'm juggling at this point in life, and I'm sure most people can understand that. But in the meantime, if you want to follow me for any reason, I'm on social media, Blue Sky and X. My handle is One Bad Mother on Blue Sky. It is the same for the gamer tag on Xbox Live. What do we call that? Whatever we call that these days. And then it is mother_1 on Twitter. Or X. I'm still gonna call it Twitter. Screw that.
That's
but screw you on. But yeah, it was a pleasure, everybody. The great panel. Appreciated talking to everybody. Doomcutie, it's nice to be on a panel again with you. And
I appreciate that. Likewise.
Yeah, a lot of different points today, a lot of good points. And it's always just therapeutic sitting back and shooting the shit, talking gaming with everybody. So
it is.
So thanks for having me again. And I'll definitely let you know when I'm available to pop in again.
Fantastic. Like I said, look forward to having you back on, both of you. And I also want to say that his links as well. Can't even talk today, do you? Anyway, your links as well are in the description below. So please, everybody, click on those, and it will be in the audio version. Hargeet, I think I need a nap or something. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, and we will not have a show next week because it's the Super Bowl, but we will be the following week. We'll be back with a crazy one. Just saying, it's gonna be good because there's some more information that some of us know are dropping soon, and we'll be ready to talk all about that in the coming weeks. It's so exciting. All I gotta say, Hargeet, tell everybody where they can reach out to you and find you on Discord.
Yeah, so I'm not on any social media. Screw all of them.
That's fair. That's a good attitude to have, actually. But
if you want to subscribe to my channel, it's Hargeet Chani 1 on YouTube. If you want to check out my book, it's shop.chani.us. Check it out. And then, yes, as WebDave said, next weekend is kind of like off. So, next up, it'll be Boom's show on Wednesday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time, Double Barrel Gaming. Well, that one's on, but Friday I'm usually on with Doodle and C Money. It's Doodle's birthday, so we're not going to do a night shift on Friday. And then on Saturday, Fonz is going to a personal event for his family, so we won't be doing that. And then, as WebDave said, Sunday is Super Bowl, so we will not be doing that. So I have a weekend off next weekend.
It's like Christmas for you.
It is.
Wow, that's the longest vacation. It's the longest vacation you've ever had.
Hargeet, I hope people remember who you are when you come back.
I know, like, who's that?
Whatever.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, I'll have one podcast this week, and then we'll see you the following week.
Well, you can work hard on that backlog you got, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And then the Super Bowl, where hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs lose. Let's make it really annoying. 3-49. I would love to see 3-49. Yes.
What a yuck score. What a yuck. Ew.
Fantasy
that is not a
time,
vibe, Hargeet.
No. Sorry, Hargeet, not going to happen. But anyway.
How much did Tom Brady beat him? What was the score? I'm trying to remember what was the Tampa Bay versus Chiefs. What did it end up being? I know it was like a blowout, but I think they didn't end up scoring like 9 points or something. Was it 9 points? And then I can't even remember the other side. It was like 42 or 30. So I don't know. It was it was a big blowout. I just remember it being a big blowout.
I still need more time to digest who I hate more. So yeah, we'll see.
See, I
might just skip
Boston,
this one.
So I like Tom Brady. The rest of the for those who aren't in the U.S., the rest of the U.S. hate Tom Brady and the Patriots, right? And the reason
I was talking about I was talking about this.
Tom Brady remains the GOAT.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
31-9. Thank you. Was it 43-9? Oh no, it says 28-3, 43-9 or 31-9. I don't know which one it is.
Wow. There you go.
But either way, it was a blowout. Tom Brady goes out saying, "Hi, yeah, I'm still the go."
31-9. Yeah, there you go. Anyway,
And you can tune into Hargeet's new podcast, the Super Bowl, coming very soon, apparently.
Exactly.
You know what I need? I need a Hargeet Reacts. That's what I need. I need a Hargeet Reacts to things like the Super
My
Bowl.
investment
I
in
think
the
that'd be
NFL is
great.
very little. I don't really care as much. I just find it fun.
and that's what'll make
to
it funny.
say-
No,
It's
well,
just
that's
the
like
Coca-Cola
me.
thing. I just have
Yeah,
fun
like
with it.
I don't have particular interest in like lots and lots of films and like how they're made or anything, but you're damn right I'm going to be seeing what people are wearing at the award shows. You know what I mean? So it's a niche. It's a niche interest, and Hargeet real life IRL Hargeet. He's when he talks about things that aren't gaming. It's a vibe.
That's it. So that's what we'll call it. Hargeet in real life.
IRL.
Pretty exciting. Guys, thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to stick around because we will send you over to Pixelated Echoes with 3-Bit and Fuzzy Belvedere. And I think they have a guest on tonight as well. So please, thanks again for everybody for joining us. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. We're on the way to 4K. We appreciate that. And hit the like button on this video and share it out with your friends and tell all your friends about us. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. And again, thanks again for joining us here on the Gamers Council.